Sometimes I wish I was an ascension of larks, climbing higher in our song, ever closer to God's eye, into the dizzying blue, our harmonies shrill and echoing in the lofty chamber as we climb up the rarefied ropes, closer and closer to the outer reaches, where wings no longer have purchase, on the veil of steams that drapes the earth, our tiny hearts sending Morse code into outer space. Sending Morse code into outer space. So, some things you just pick up and take home without even remembering picking them up and taking them home. And then after a while, you realize you've been collecting these talismans, kind of relics of some kind. And you know that you picked them up for a reason. And maybe they called you to pick them up. Well, the strange thing is, I have this deep connection with all these objects, but some of them, I can't really say for sure how they came to be in my hand. And some of them came out of the ground, Some of them fell from the sky, some of them came from the sea, some of them were lying in a field. This midnight feast, this flowing cup, this long romance, this stolen kiss, this avalanche, this slow parade, this perfume mist, this sad crusade, this northern sky, this knowing smile, this lucky strike, this longest mile, this afterglow, this vacant lot, this endless ring, this aftershock, this ringing bell, this silent shout, this honey well, this way out, this melody, this broken song, this curtain call, this sing-along, this sing-along. This sudden gift, this wakening, this symmetry, this beckoning, this extra shot, this lost weekend, this second chance, this never end, this cul-de-sac, this holiday, this deja vu, this sad bouquet, this lost and found, this cavalcade, this game of chance, this penny arcade, this sucker punch, this twist of fate, this rendezvous, this slow embrace, this melody, this broken song, this curtain call, this sing-along, this sing-along. Sometimes I wish I was a bevy of swans crowding on full sail, our stubby tails, our rudders, passing under city bridges, over the deep black mirror to our magnificent necks. Chest bones splaying the water as we spread out across the estuary, then going about and gathering to return again upstream for no other reason than to parade our stately arrogance. Sometimes I wish I was a jubilee of eagles in slow revolution high over a valley, our turning figures like ash suspended in the updraft, 1,000 hands high over pines and clearings and hunters' paths. As we shriek and shriek and shriek again, heads cocking, eyes blinking, V-tails tilting, shadows colluding our heraldic emblems in a broken spectre against the towering clouds. Sometimes I wish I was a reel of Virginia rails, stealing through the reeds and rushes, planting our feet widely on broad floating leaves, our red needle beaks parting the murk in salt marshes, our bodies low, quiet shapes, wedges in the shallows, pushing through stems and tall, tight leaves, discreet and content to haunt the brackish, silent margins. This comes from the Bagamoyo coast in the Indian Ocean. I don't know if my geography is correct, but this was a present from my brother. And a Chinese doctor told me one time that he likes to grind these little guys into dust and use them as medicine. Well, I just brought him home and I kept him. And yeah. Solitary crow with a cripple wing, you came at night to the doorstep. I rescued you from the storm, the Atlantic wind and rain, ripped from the blackness to rest in my hands, with gaping beak and blinking eye and all but spent. Solitary crow with a cripple wing. I put you in a cardboard apple box, not sure if you'd make it till morning. In the spare room, I stood on the stone floor by the window and watched the lights across Galway Bay guttering like lanterns, and the trees all bucking in the wind. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. In the coming weeks I fed you treats, saved and gathered from the table and the tangled garden. Macaroni and cheese, baked Alaska, tapioca, worms, moths, kidney beans, curly whirlies, all manner of things. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. To help you find your strength again. And there you waited for me on the makeshift perch, in the grotto under the blackthorn tree. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. In the coming weeks I'd cross the tangled path with the treats already in my little hand, past the injured rotary washing line, crooked and askew from the prevailing wind, the defunct swing ball pole, the broken down family saloon. I'd find you on your perch waiting for me. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. Then one day you were ready for flight. You lunged skyward with clumsy beats, a squawk of excitement, talons hanging low. Then over my head, over the fence, over the field of ferns, of lush green viridian, towards the others who watched from the telegraph wires. Solitary crow with the crippled wing. Then I lost sight of you, and you were gone, and I was joyous for you, but shattered nonetheless. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. It was late October the next time I saw you. I was walking along the top of the fence, and I saw the cluster of bones and black feathers that lay among the rusty bracken. And I looked to the sky, and I looked to the sky. Sometimes I wish I was a season of killdeer, foraging in the lowlands, between the steps of cattle, supping in standing water and scouring pebbled shores for shell pieces, to adorn nests with gifts from the ocean, black necklaces around our throats, and crying out from rooftops as we step along ridge beams to feast on flies plucked from the roof tiles of low-pitched houses with open skylights. Sometimes I wish I was a screaming frenzy of swifts, sickling through the October air, swooping under stone arches and breakneck speeding low over rivers thick with rainwater, then spiraling high around church steeples in a vesper to the crepuscular heaven. Sometimes I wish I was a slurp of sapsuckers, clouding in a flurry over a crown of branches, then dropping like stones with wings tucked in to a grove of birches, red caps darting as we make our work to hammer hole the bark and drain the sap into our bellies, and then flurrying up again to scatter down grove to grove and on and on. For some reason, this order of objects has some special relevance to me. And it has to be like this. It can't be any other way. Just like a constellation has a shape. But even a constellation shifts slightly from time to time. I found a halfway room in a seaside town. I'll stay here for a while. Through my window I can hear the ship bells ring, and I wake to the smell of the brine. The stray dogs here follow me around. They seem to know their kind. and I play the piano in a harbor bar. They pay me in bread and wine, bread and wine. It's taken me so long to write to you. Well, I just couldn't find a pen. And then there was the quest for writing paper, and it just went on from there. I have it in my mind to tell you more when the time is right. But meanwhile I'll be playing waltzes for bread and wine, for bread and wine. So how's life in the city of lost poets? Did they ever catch that thief who stole the relics of Saint Valentine, who says romance is beat? I can picture him running across the rooftops, laughing all the way. Who knows, maybe I'll bump into him here and I'll share my bread and wine, my bread and wine. I found a halfway room in a seaside town. I'll stay here for a while. Through my window I can hear the ship bells ring, and I wake to the smell of the brine. I play the piano in a harbor bar for bread and wine. I play the piano in a harbor bar for bread and wine. I'll be playing the piano in a harbor bar for bread and wine. And they pay me in bread and wine, bread and wine. Sometimes I wish I was an unkindness of ravens, lurking and black-eyeing from iron railings, and inking the dusky air over skeletal sycamores, raining superstition with carrion breath. Cloak wings frayed, slowly beating a death knell tempo to our sniggering throats, all in a dark mess of coughing ghosts. Sometimes I wish I was an unkindness of ravens, lurking and black-eyeing from iron railings, and inking the dusky air over skeletal sycamores, raining superstition with carrion breath, cloak wings frayed, slowly beating a death knell tempo to our sniggering throats, all in a dark mess of coughing ghosts. Sometimes I wish I was a deceit of lapwings, stalking the soft margins of floodwaters in the height of midnight darkness, and across furrows freshly turned over in dark fields of breaching nightworms, our crests unfurling, slick black wisps of stolen tendrils. Sometimes I wish I was a herd of wrens, round-headed and browny, hopping along in our yellow crowns, rulers of all winged creatures, kings of the fence and kings of winter. Sometimes I wish I was an ascension of larks.